MagicCon Atlanta is happening this weekend, and there was a huge preview panel for Lorwyn Eclipsed, the first set arriving in 2026. Let's take a look at all the hype that we saw. Big Roy Graham was the set lead on Lorwyn Eclipsed, so most of what we hear comes from him, and a little bit later Mark Rosewater will join us on stage too. The first part of the show is about some of the new characters appearing on Lorwyn, now that some time has passed since the story has been there. Sygg, Wanderwine Wisdom, is a non-Merfolk creature known as a marrow. I have no idea how that's spelled, so I just spelled it like bone marrow in my script, so I pronounced it right. Ashling Rekindled is shown off to a lot of hype in the crowd actually, so that's great for them. Brigid the Kithkin is next, with two little guys back there that look like they know how to have a good time. Those guys look like they're fun, right? Auntie Grub will receive a card in this set. I wasn't around for the original Lorwyn, but I hear Auntie Grub was featured as flavor text on many cards from the announcers. To catch up on the story is that Una kept Lorwyn separated from Shadowmoor, and now the plane is returning to its natural state. There are two big new elementals involved. Now, the first being Irdu, the day elemental. We also get to see how now on Lorwyn there is a hard cutover to the part of the plane that is now permanent Shadowmoor. I don't know all the story, but I'm pretty sure that the residents did not retain their memories when Lorwyn would flip into Shadowmoor, and that Una had found a way to keep hers, so that's how she maintained control. Now it's possible to walk into the other side and become someone completely different, according to the panel. Morningtide's Light is the card associated with this scene, and it is a huge flicker sorcery, and then prevent all damage dealt to you until your next turn. Then it exiles itself. It'd be fun to see this with Ketramos and a board wipe. Isilu is the nighttime elemental, and boy, this thing is creepy. Looks like a Snuffleupagus dinosaur, but the head is just the trunk, and wow, this thing freaks me out. The card is revealed, and it's actually a flip card between Irdu and Isilu, being the duality of Lorwyn and Shadowmoor together. And Irdu gives your creature spells Convoke, while Isilu gives non-token creatures Persist. They're also both gods. Next up is Sygg. I guess he's just a merfolk. I'm lost now on the difference between merfolk and marrow, but maybe this is just to allow merfolk type pool to be a reality. On both sides, he can't be blocked, and both sides grant an ability when he transforms. The front lets you designate a creature that if it hits a player, you draw a card. The other side gives you a creature you control protection from each color until your next turn. Now these transformations can't happen whenever. They only happen so far that we've seen at the beginning of your first main phase. I'm curious if they switch it up later, and we'll see some that switch after, but the point is you can't flip Sygg on a whim to give protection, so no Skrelv 2.0 here. Ashling is in red and blue. The front lets you discard and draw a card, then the back lets you give 2 mana of any one color, just for spells with mana value greater than 4. And Jesus, if you thought banning Vivi was going to control Izzet decks, we get reality checked in every one of these previews. They show the Shadowmoor artwork for Brigid. She's got some big spooky eyes, and now those fun guys look like evil lynx back there. Can someone subpoena Wizards and get the design documents for this set and see if they just said, make it like Zelda A Link to the Past and we'll be good? The art for Evil Grub exists, but I do not care about it one bit. I only care about this little guy on her shoulder. Who is this guy? How powerful is he? Does he go by Tim? Bitterbloom Bearer is a double black card that you can flash in. It's a flying 1/1 that makes you a 1/1 blue-black fairy at your upkeep at the cost of 1 life. I couldn't figure this guy out if he was good or bad, but Mark Rosewater explains that he thought about when he made Phyrexian Arena, and black always trades life for cards, and he wanted to do something different, so this card trades life for fairies. It's a mythic, so they think it's going to be good, but they also really think it's going to be good because it also comes in this full art serialized version. Emptiness is a dual color pipped casting cost that has payoffs for using double of one color or the other. If you pay double white on its cost, you can recur a cost 3 or less creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. If you spend double black, then it puts 3 -1/-1 counters on a creature. It also has the double pip cost for Evoke, so you can just use it for the ETB effect. Or I guess technically you can pay the Evoke cost with one of each and it just does nothing and dies. Mark explains that they wanted to make spells with Kicker, and if you paid the kick cost, they would become creatures. And then the rules team told him not to do that, and he just made more Evoke creatures. He had referenced making these kind of creatures on his blog back in December of 2024, but that was probably around the time that he was told, please don't do this. Mutable Explorer looks awesome, and he makes a Mutavault token when he enters. They were all way too excited back when they announced the Mutavault reprint for Edge of Eternities, but now we know why. Let me know when Rise of the Mutavault decks happen so I can get on that bandwagon too. I'm actually pretty interested in this guy. I've been playing Golgari lately and this will fit right in. I like 3-drop ramp and Golgari like the land wagon. It also enables my spooky room enchantment with demons and draw cards. The next card revealed has Avatar synergy, so prepare for Avatar typal supremacy. Figure of Fable, a new 1-drop that will evolve if you spend more mana on it. I like these types of creatures that give you some value out of extra mana late game. Ashling's Command is a kindred instant for elementals. You can pick 2 out of the 4 and make a token copy of an elemental you control, make someone draw 2, deal 2 damage to each creature a target player controls, or make 2 treasure tokens. We get to see some booster fun treatments. Bitterbloom Bearer is back in a Fabled Frame, as well as the Mutavault Explorer. There's also this artwork of a goblin, so can't wait to see who that is, the new goblin for the collection. The rest of the Shocklands are here in Lorwyn as well, with 1 artwork for Lorwyn and 1 artwork for Shadowmoor. I feel kind of like we give Shadowmoor the short end of the stick since it all starts as Lorwyn and then Shadowmoor is just the other side. The whole product lineup is shown, but I'm really only interested in this new product, Draft Night, that we heard somewhat about in my leak video. It's made for playing 4-player pick-2 draft at home, has 12 play boosters and a land pack to get you started as well, and a collector booster presumably as the prize for the winner. This product will also continue to appear in new sets going forward. I normally skip these too, but the Shadowmoor Commander Precon is going to be based on making -1/-1 counters, which they say they haven't ever done before, so it might become something to look for if you like doing weird things with minus counters or infect or proliferate. Lorwyn First Light will be a Dungeons & Dragons expansion on D&D Beyond. It includes the new Rhymekin species, which sounds like Ashling's Shadowmoor version, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. There will also be new theme decks that aren't locked as much of the set they release with, but themed around something more generic. The first 2 are Pirates and Angels, and these are meant to be an introduction to 60-card constructed formats. They will also be standard legal. They won't be released with Universes Beyond sets though. And that's the whole panel on Lorwyn. If you're curious about the rest of the preview panel, check back in for my next video covering all the reveals for MagicCon Atlanta. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment and get subscribed. Thanks for watching, and take care.